All right, what's going on, guys? This is Rob, and I forgot that Hulk number 2 was coming out 2 weeks after Hulk number 1. Now, after this, it's only coming out every month, so we'll have to wait like a month before we cover the next issue. I know it sucks. One of the things a lot of you guys have voiced a concern about is that sometimes it's hard to keep track of stories. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna kind of create playlists for the individual stories that we're doing, so they're super easy to follow. We'll probably end up with a million playlists, but there's no such thing as too many playlists on YouTube. So for those of you guys who are following Devil's Reign, you'll actually find a link to the playlist in that video, which right now only has one video. And then for this one, you'll find a link to the playlist, both for this individual story arc, and this video will also be added into the main playlist for the Incredible Hulk. So that'll make it easier to follow along. Having said that, so in the first video, what we kind of talked about and what we ran over here was really the change that was going on with the Incredible Hulk. This idea that what Banner had done in the aftermath of like everything that Al Ewing had done, which was just a ridiculously amazing story, which we still need to release a full story for Immortal Hulk. That what's happened here is Banner has basically weaponized the Incredible Hulk insofar that he basically turned him into a ship. Because the Incredible Hulk is so incredibly durable and so powerful, he can survive in almost any environment. And one of the things that was established in Jason Aaron's run is that the Incredible Hulk's physiology can actually adapt to an environment. So he wasn't able to breathe underwater until he was. And so what this means is that with Banner basically controlling the mind of the Incredible Hulk and the Incredible Hulk's rage being used as quote unquote the engine that drives the ship, that he's basically able to do almost anything he wants to insofar as executing plans. We don't really know what this plan is. What we do know is that Banner basically seized control of basically celestial tech and then in turn traveled into the multiverse. Now the funny thing about this is that as soon as he leaves his universe, he comes across a group that's referred to as the Alternate Universe Timeline Hazard Operations Response and Intervention Team with some other word that starts with a Y. It's Authority. This looks like Authority from DC Comics. Those of you guys who don't know who that is, the Authority is actually a group that operates essentially in the multiverse, but they've served different purposes, but they're a Wildstorm team. We haven't really talked about them, and maybe we should. We haven't really done much in the way of Wildstorm, but this is hilarious because at the end of the day, he just plows through. I mean, none of these guys really have a chance, but it is kind of a funny thing to see. I mean, tell me this ship in the background does not look like the ship of the Authority from Wildstorm. They're basically a pastiche, right? I mean, if they're not exactly those characters, they're basically a pastiche. But when it comes to the multiverse, and this is one of the things I want to talk about, I like to reiterate this every so often for people who were either new or who have been here for a while and need a bit of a refresher. There are a lot of teams that patrol the multiverse for different reasons. Like the Exiles travel from one universe to the other, just basically solving problems. And we should cover the original, like not really the original, but like the Exiles run that basically went into what was basically House of M and all that kind of stuff, did like the World Tour storyline and all that. We should probably cover that because the Exiles are like the most underappreciated, but most amazing team in Marvel Comics. Like literally it's just a team that travels to alternate realities. Every one of their stories was awesome. There was never a boring story in the Exiles, but nonetheless, these guys are obliterated pretty quickly. The other thing behind this is that Banner is basically asleep at the wheel, and it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, it's a pretty exhausting situation to be in, controlling a giant green rage monster and then, sending him into space. A lot's happened over the course of the day. And so once Banner starts to wake up, what you actually end up finding out here is they're being targeted. And the reason why is because there's somebody out there or something out there that's trying to get their hands on the Hulk for reasons we don't necessarily know. We simply know that they are. But again, this is the nature of using the Incredible Hulk's rage as an engine system, that where this really, we could call it kind of a physical tractor beam, is trying to pull the Incredible Hulk in, that Banner amps his rage up, right? As a means to just kind of keep or at least push the Incredible Hulk to higher levels. Think of this as something akin to like NOS in a car, except you can regulate how much NOS you basically allow in that car, and you basically have it just increasing in power forever, right? Is kind of the big difference here. But again, like monsters are basically introduced that set upon the Incredible Hulk, one of which is Fin Fang Foom. Spoilers, have you guys played the Guardians of the Galaxy game yet? Dude, that game is amazing. I just finished it like a couple days ago. Dude, that game is amazing. Fin Fang Foom looked awesome in that game. When they're like, we need to go find Fin Fang Foom, I was like, yes! I really can't wait to see this. But the thing behind this is that, again, these are just monsters. And the Incredible Hulk, in what's essentially his almost like infantile form, his savage form, just sees them as a credible threat and attacks them. That's one of the benefits that Banner's kind of waiting for when it comes to the Incredible Hulk, is the Incredible Hulk has not figured out this is an illusion. Now, this is one of the big differences between what Donny Cates is doing and what Al Ewing is doing. That in a lot of ways, Al Ewing depicted the intelligence of the Immortal Hulk, or at least his ability to understand his surroundings, as being on par with Banner, right? I mean, the Immortal Hulk was not as intelligent as Banner, right? It wasn't one of those things where he's like practicing science and things like that. Certainly not on the same level that Banner was, but he was certainly a lot more cognizant of what was going on around him, right? He was able to understand what was taking place in a more nuanced way than what Savage Hulk is able to do. Now, whether or not this means the Immortal Hulk / Devil Hulk persona is gone forever or is temporarily just kind of retreated is something that only time will tell, right? We'll just kind of have to wait and watch as Donny Cates' run progress to find out how this happens. But regardless, with the Immortal Hulk's anger being amped up more and more, at the end of the day, Banner's told that the origin of this entity is unknown, but according to their sensors, they're being scanned. And when it turns out they're being scanned for gamma radiation, the initial response of Banner is it's the Avengers, right? Like they're trying to find him, or they have found him, and they're basically trying to bring this guy back, right? They're trying to reel him back into the universe, because the reality is he's not supposed to be out there, right? Like he overpowered the Avengers in order to get to this. And so following that, you basically have him, of course, taking out Fin Fang Foom, and you know, the Incredible Hulk destroys these forces or whatever. And so Banner needs more rage. And so as a really great throwback, he basically amps him up and has a giant version of Wolverine appear here. Now, on the surface, you would think that if what Banner wanted to do was to maximize the rage of the Hulk, that he would somehow find a way to unlock the Worldbreaker Hulk rage level, right? To make him, you know, as angry as he's ever been. But there's a couple reasons for why we can surmise this is not really happening. The first is that to go from just Hulk who's kind of chill and relaxed, or at least is, you know, kind of minimally angry, we can call him that, to like Worldbreaker Hulk could possibly just destroy his form, right? Like, I mean, destroy the engine, so to speak, right? The other part of this is that given the fact that the Worldbreaker Hulk form is essentially a more cognizant and intelligent version of Savage Hulk, that what this would mean is that it would figure out it's all an illusion, right? Like Worldbreaker Hulk would figure out what's going on and then basically just stop, right? And just cease to fight and just kind of maybe revert back to a base form and call it a day. There's a few different reasons for why we can discern that's not necessarily happening. The other cool thing here is that this being a throwback is to the old Wolverine first appearance when he fought the Incredible Hulk. This is how he looked, right? This is how Wolverine looked back in the day. Not only that, as most of you guys know, the Incredible Hulk and Wolverine have had some ridiculously good fights, especially with that animated movie, right? Hulk versus, and it's like Wolverine and Thor. You guys remember that movie? That movie was awesome. I'm gonna watch that movie as soon as I finish with this video. But like, it was a great movie, right? It was a great thing. I absolutely loved it. But there's been some great battles here, right? And there's a lot of, I wouldn't say animosity, but Wolverine kind of represents this being that's very difficult for the Incredible Hulk to take out. And so the Incredible Hulk's rage just kind of keeps going and going and going. But as the fight breaks on or continues on between Wolverine and the Incredible Hulk, the Hulk's not getting as angry as he needs to be. The engines themselves are also critical. So it's almost as though the engines kind of match what the Hulk is going through. Now you do get some cool moments, right? Where like giant Wolverine goes to stab the Immortal Hulk and his claws get stuck in the ground and Hulk rips out one of Wolverine's claws, which is awesome. It's just ridiculously cool to see. But this kind of disembodied Betty Ross, right? Who almost seems to be a voice in Banner's head, to a degree, seemingly his conscience kind of chimes in and is like, you're pushing the Incredible Hulk too far. Like, if you keep on doing this, either he's gonna break, he's gonna shut down, and he's basically like that persona is gonna be destroyed, possibly replaced with another, or simply just losing your ability to power this engine entirely, or everything's gonna go belly up. The crazy thing about this is that if this version of the Incredible Hulk is seemingly defeated / destroyed, that what would happen is Banner would revert back into his human form, right? Like, remember, all this is essentially taking place in the mindscape, right? Like, this ship that Banner's sitting in is the brain of the Incredible Hulk, and the Incredible Hulk himself is just his persona fighting all these enemies that Banner's making him see that appear to be real, but actually aren't, right? That's one thing to keep in mind. This is not happening on some planet somewhere, right? That's not really what's going on here. But that if this version of the Incredible Hulk is defeated or destroyed, that the Incredible Hulk will revert back into his human form, and Banner cannot withstand the rigors of the multiverse in his current form, right? Like as a human being, he cannot withstand that. He would basically be destroyed. And so that's why there's a bit of desperation here. That's why there's a bit of a desire to kind of push the Incredible Hulk more and more and find some way to get past this. Ultimately though, the Incredible Hulk succumbs to this kind of tractor system that's pulling him in, and there's no conceivable way for them to find a way out. And so essentially, once they're pulled back in here or into this particular location, they crash land in what basically looks like a cave with a kind of stasis field that's keeping the Incredible Hulk in place. Now, we're not really given the details of this stasis field, and in reality, we don't really need them, but I would surmise that given how it's technology based, it's likely one of those things where it basically reinforces the strength of the Incredible Hulk. So for every punch he doles out, that level of strength is amplified 2 times over by the shield. So basically the shield is always more durable than the Incredible Hulk is, right? Like the Incredible Hulk's strength works against him and being able to try to break out of this thing. The crazy thing is that there's just this kind of guy out there, right? Like this person out there that you can't really make out, that says that like after all these years, they finally caught him, right? They finally caught this person. And where Banner doesn't know what's going on, right? Like, who in the hell are you? Like, what in the heck is happening here? The person kind of chimes in and says, wow, you're wildly different from all the rest of them, right? You can speak, you can reason, and you're in control. Like, this is kind of weird. Like, don't be afraid. I mean you no harm. My name is Dr. Bruce Banner. This looks like Bruce Banner from an alternate reality. Now, try as I might, this is not an existing version of Bruce Banner that I'm familiar with, and I've searched high and low. This is not a version of Banner that we've seen before. So it's not like the Incredible Hulk's landed in like the House of M universe, and this is Banner in that universe. This is seemingly a reality that we've never seen before, which makes me wildly excited to see what Donny Cates is going to do here. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to an end. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all later. Peace.